Hi, this is Derek Turner from freepress.net and stopbigmedia.com, and you're listening to In Your Face Radio.
Welcome to the David Sparks Show, an ongoing exploration of issues and thought by award-winning journalist, artist, and musician David Sparks. For more info, visit thedavidsparks.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the David Sparks Show. I am David Sparks, and this is my voice, and this is my room, and these are the things that I have to say. Welcome back. No, not welcome back, Cotter. Welcome back. The dreams where you chickened out, or something like that. I don't know. I don't care anymore. Once upon a time, I owned a Welcome Back Cotter t-shirt and a pair of Tough Skins jeans. But it's not the 70s. It's 2013. And shit's gone crazy. And, Jesus, what's new? Shit's gone crazy. Shit's gone crazy. But I'm feeling lazy, so I'm gonna drink some wine. Obama, he went to South Africa this week. Rush Limbaugh freaked out. Blah, 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 blah. Talking heads, talking heads. The entire world is going to shit in a handbasket. The climate is completely freaking out. It's cold as hell, has been so far this winter. But we're shopping, and we're shopping, and we are shopping, and we are lining up at Wal-Mart, and we can't wait to get those Xboxes because we have not yet made the connection between our purchases and global climate catastrophe. It's sad to say, but it's true, man. I live here in the Midwest, and people are not interested in no climate change, no climate catastrophe, no sustainability, no green, nothing. They want to drive to the BW3s and watch the Bengals and the Browns and the Giants and the Dolphins and just about anything else that's not something that has to do with something that really weighs heavy on your mind. But can you blame people? You know, I in my own mind, I like go back and forth. I say, I'm like, there's so much shit that are just massive problems. So many fucking numbskull wiener knuckles in Congress and in the Senate. And we're shopping and talking about what's the next place we can build a mall? Where do you think the next good mall will be? Man, I want some BW3's chicken wings. Oh, I like Hooters chicken wings better. And it just gets me thinking, as a serious-minded, at least I try to be a serious-minded person. I try to follow the news. I try to, follow politics, current events, keep an eye on culture, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. And it just doesn't seem that anyone is really concerned about anything in this country of America, the United States where I live, except for feeling good and getting off and getting into a place that's not this place. Because, face it, most people realize by now that if they haven't made it, they're not going to. As Jorge Carlin said, they own you. They own this fucking place. And he was right. In his famous viral video, now it's a viral video of one of his concerts, he goes into detail about the military-industrial business complex, and they own everybody. You ain't got nothing. The schools ain't going to get no better. Education's not going to get no better. Accept it. And that seems to pretty much be the reality here in these here United States. The banks can rob anything they want. The politicians are all in the pocket of big corporations. And a teen in Keller, Texas is not going to go to jail. He's got 10 years of probation after killing 4 people in his pickup truck, which he and his buddies loaded into after stealing a case of beer at the local Wal-Mart, jumped in, tore off down the road, killed 4 pedestrians, hurt 2 of the people in the truck really bad. And this kid is not going to go to jail because, well, his lawyers said, well, he suffers from affluenza. He doesn't know what consequences are, so therefore he shouldn't suffer any. The teen's lawyers claimed his rich parents spoiled him and never taught him about consequences. Ethan Couch of Keller, Texas, had faced 20 years behind bars, but walked away with 10 years of probation Tuesday, something that angered his victims' families. Money always seems to keep Couch out of trouble, Eric Boyles, whose wife and daughter were killed in the June 15th crash, told the Star-Telegram after sentencing. Dr. Gary Miller blamed the teen's behavior on his parents, claiming they gave him whatever he wanted, including freedoms no young person should have. Miller called Couch a product of affluenza, where his family felt that their wealth bought privilege and there was no rational link between behavior and consequences. He added that the boy had an intellectual age of 18, but an emotional age of 12. The teen never learned to say that you're sorry if you hurt someone, Miller said, according to the Star-Telegram. State District Judge Jean Boyd appeared to agree with the defense. She told the teen that he is responsible for what happened, but she said she didn't believe he would receive the therapy he needed in jail. If he violates the term of his probation, he could be sent to prison for 10 years. Money, 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 money! Money! This kid is Captain America. That's what I say. A lot of people are completely pissed off about this, and they're like, this is wrong! This child has money! He's paid for this elaborate defense. And I say, that's what America is about, people. Don't you know that by now? What have you been sitting home not paying attention to? Did you not notice nobody being taken to jail for starting an illegal war in Iraq? Did you not notice no bankers being jailed for the crash of the 2008 economy? I could go on and on and on. Did you not notice about no one going to jail for creating a giant spy network state that watches your every fucking move? Come on. Don't you remember OJ? This is America. If you got money, you can do what you want to, honey. You know what the golden rule is? He that has all the gold gets to make all the rules. And that's the way it is. And you better like it. Go back, eat some chicken wings, watch the Dolphins, and don't worry about 16-year-old kids who steal liquor from Wal-Mart. That's what this kid was caught on security camera doing. Him and a bunch of his privileged redneck wiener knuckle buddies stole a bunch of beer, got in his pickup truck, went out and plowed over 4 people, hurt 2 people in his own vehicle, pretty bad, and he's walking the streets today. If you and I, working at Burger King, Taco Bell, a telemarketing place somewhere, waiting tables, whatever we needed to do, whatever we're doing to get by, we're to get in a pickup truck after we've stolen a case of beer from Wal-Mart and bowled over and killed 4 people. We would be in the Hooskow and you know it. Because the justice system get no justice, it does not show it. That's the way it is in America. And every time you go out and spend all your attention and your energies towards something like stuffing your gullet full of chicken wings and the Indianapolis Colts, then this stuff is just going to keep on going on and going on and going on and going on. I don't want to blame football because there's lots of other distractions. Man, we've got so many distractions. We are so distracted that we allow this kind of stuff to go on. If this would happen in so many other countries, that the populace would be out in the streets freaking out. His family would have to flee the state for their lives. If you don't know what consequences are, how can you be expected to suffer consequences? Because, see, you can't even fathom consequences. That's the logic now in America. And we know it because every day we go around, I hear people saying, oh, rich get richer, poor get poor. That's just the way it is. I guess it is the way it is. Because no one's doing anything about it. No one's trying to bring anything down. We're lining up at Wal-Mart. We are lining up at Target. We're lining up at Best Buy. Thinking, oh, I wonder if I could get something. My life will be so much better. Because deep down inside, we think that, hey, that's a rich kid. And those people are rich. Because, well, when you're good, you get money. Therefore, people who are rich are good. And that's what we've got. And that's what you've got. And that's what we've all got. So stuff your gullet full of some more chicken wings and go pay attention to the Colts or the Bears or the Rams or the Seahawks or Miley Cyrus or The View or anything. It just doesn't matter. Because until something bad happens to you in America, then it doesn't matter. That's where we're at. I can seem to remember another privileged kid from Texas whose out-of-control behavior cost the lives of, 500,000 people? Oh, Jorge Bush, down there in Texas. There's another example of George Bush. He had money. He could do whatever he wanted to. Cocaine. He didn't have to show up to his National Guard unit meetings. He could do what he wanted. He was royalty. His daddy's from the CIA. And, how could he be charged with war crimes when he had never known what consequences were before? So therefore, he couldn't be charged with anything because he would have to suffer the consequences. And he doesn't know what consequences are because he's never been applied them in his familial life. So I guess if, say, who's someone really rich? Oh, one of Bill Gates' kids. I'm not sure if he has kids or he was able to make kids or whatever. But if he adopted some kid somewhere, I don't know. If Bill Gates' kid, was like, I can spend whatever I want, whenever I want. My daddy has given me all the money in the world. Limo driver, take me to Dick's Sporting Goods. I will buy an AR-15, and I'm going to blow up and kill my entire elementary school. And the kid went and did that. I guess they should just get off. Because, they didn't know what the consequences were going to be. Now, of course, I'm being sarcastic. But nothing is going to change in the matter of justice being able to be bought with money. Because if you can pay for a really, really fantastic legal defense team that can defend you against the most egregious evidence on the face of the planet, and obviously this guy had evidence everywhere, scattered all over the place, all over his truck and all over the roadway, bodies and witnesses of the act, and him on videotape. If he can get off for that, then don't be surprised anybody else gets off for all kinds of crimes and misdemeanors at the upper echelons, because we are acquiescent. We talk about it all the time, how unfair it is. But how many people actually get out and protest the military-industrial complex and the prison-industrial complex? Not a whole lot. We permit America to be the most imprisoned country on the planet. Do you think we're really going to do anything about 16-year-olds' ability to steal beer and run over people and kill them and get off of it with enough money? Of course we're not. That's what this country is based upon now. Don't you get it? Wake up from your slumber! Flee your seats at BW3s. Ignore the Indianapolis Colts and all those who would try to steal your attention from that which matters, because we have let ourselves become an unfree people. Yes, we have let ourselves become people who are spied on, who are imprisoned for nothing, and who are let out of prison for horrendous things that they should be put in prison for. I'm sorry if I'm getting a little out of control, but I just don't give a shit no more. These turd knuckle motherfuckers have done it. Man, I've had it enough. The rent is too high. The hypocrisy is out of control. You can buy your way out of any kind of horrendous atrociousness that you may commit. And if you don't have money, then honey, you're going to jail. Because you spell fail. And nothing's going to happen. You know, we're all going to go, ah, that's terrible. Boom. We're going to post on Facebook and we're going to tweet, oh, it's an miscarriage of justice. What are we going to actually do? We know that the scales of justice are tilted for those who have moolah, money. They're better people. See, the money is a sign that they're better people. That is what America is about. Showing that you're a better person because of your money.
In Your Face Radio. Radio without eating disorders.
Accuse somebody of a felony without being convicted.
I know, and it is not outrageous, and I think it's outrageous for people to act as if you can only speak the way our criminal justice system works.
Drug use.
First smoked marijuana somewhere in California.
Or lies.
Moving the economy forward.
In Your Face Radio.
All right, welcome back to the David Sparks Show. I know I've been ragging on football today, but to be honest, I was raised on the gridiron. From the time I was able to put on pads and a helmet, I was on the field. I eventually became one of the top players on my high school football team, played some college football, and on a fateful day in November in 1987, I believe it was, I, David B. Sparks, defensive end for the Cumberland College Indians, in my 6-foot, 215-pound frame, was headed downfield on a kickoff and took a hit that was so hard that it kind of just made me say, you know, this isn't worth it. Now, I had played a lot of football up at this time, but this one on this icy cold day up in Tiffin, Ohio versus the Tiffin, Ohio Dragons, dude hit me so blindsided hard on a kickoff, it like rocked all my bones. I think it separated his shoulder, gave me a concussion. And for like 6 months later, I just started getting like strange aches and pains and injuries for a couple days from doing shit like walking across the street. And I decided at that time, you know, playing football for a NAIA small college lost in the mountains of Kentucky isn't really that glorious enough for me to create an arthritic mess of myself when I become an old man. So I put up the cleats, and I never really went back to watching football because I really never could understand why I was playing football. What is so exciting about this? It was exciting for me to play, but when I watch games, I'm like, well, I'm kind of like one of these people. Like, I like to do stuff. I don't like to watch other people live. And so I'm still to this day trying to come to grips with the sport of football, the American obsession with it. Like I said, my dad raised us in football. He still to this day can find no other happiness in life that is greater than a Saturday afternoon watching the Ohio State Buckeyes. But to me, you know, I'm kind of, you know, I feel like, you know, the whole sports drama addiction thing with American males is really just like a pacifier for men. And yeah, it's fun. It's, you can sit around the house, pass a few hours, drink some beers. It's dramatic. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean anything. It's not changing anything. It's not making the moments after that better. And so, yeah, football, it's way overrated in America. It's fun, but the seasons are way too long. It's not about the game. It's about selling you beer, selling you all kinds of different products that you don't need. It is a delivery vehicle for the consumer mindset to be implanted in your soul by corporate America. It's one of the many venues, and it's a perfect venue for it, and it's something that we compete against in politics and the realms of things that truly matter to people's lives. When people spend that much of of their downtime taken in sports, well, it just naturally takes away from downtime participating in other things. And we are such a politically apathetic country that it's time to say, screw the NFL. All they're about is selling beer and selling us into a mindset where we accept any kind of crazy talk that the government has got going on. We accept being searched. We accept having our soldiers paraded out in front of the field as props for feel-good messages about, they're coming home and Sally's going to meet her son that she's been in Iraq for all these years and she's going to meet him on the 50-yard line. And while Americans eat these reunions up, what they're really designed to do is to keep you from questioning why she was there to begin with. And that kind of gets to the heart of one of the purposes of football in America, and that's to inculcate culture. And they're inculcating a culture of people who won't question messages, such as, well, why was Sally over there in Iraq to begin with? They didn't find any weapons of mass destruction. Isn't that kind of an illegal war of aggression? No, you'll never, ever hear a message like that on an NFL broadcast, but you will hear endless troop worship. And that's all designed to keep you from questioning what the government's actually doing and what they're doing with our tax dollars. Because football is a metaphor for rule in the United States, and that is, it's a meritocracy of the brutish. And just like a linebacker in the NFL, the United States government uses brutish behavior to acquire land systematically, yard by yard, hoping to score a touchdown someday, I guess. And the NFL is just not very healthy. Not only for the players, which now whenever I watch a game, I'm just kind of like, wow, these guys are going to be sorry, and they're just exploiting these guys because there's really no millions of dollars worth completely racking your body and becoming a suicide victim when you're before you're 50. R.I.P. Junior Seau. And the NFL really doesn't seem to care. If you've seen the Frontline investigation about traumatic brain injury in the NFL, only after overwhelming evidence and trying to suppress by discrediting the original investigators into the brain of Mike Webster, which this whole traumatic brain injury situation started with, did the NFL do anything. They tried to put it under the carpet for years and years, but everyone knows when you bang your head into something really hard at a high speed, even if you've got a helmet, the jarring that it takes over time is going to hurt somebody. It's just repetitive injury is going to hurt any part of your body if you do that time and time again. And, the NFL really didn't seem to care about these guys who gave really everything they had through their bodies out there, and like a Roman Colosseum slathering for blood while the lion was ready to take on a human opponent. The NFL fandom is kind of like the same, you know. There's a pile of old dead bodies that are now kind of via the NFL and, you know, the nature of the game. It's what it does. It's what happens to people, and it's what we've allowed it to become by cheering it on. And, you know, it's just not that fun anymore, and I realize it for what it is, a big bread and circuses event designed to suffice for our need for ritualistic gatherings in a community. But really, it's just there to sell beer and delusions of consumeristic grandeur. And so I'm just not really interested in it anymore. It doesn't mean that you have to give up sports or you have to give up football. But take a moment and think about what we really care about in life and what's going on in this country, and say, do I really need to devote all of this time and all of my consciousness to sports, ESPN, and the whole drama sphere that comes with that? Or can maybe on a Sunday afternoon, instead of what are there, 16 games in the season? Instead of watching 16 games in 16 weekends, maybe watch 8 next year and take 8 weekends off to, I don't know, take a walk in the park with your kids or your grandkids or your mom and dad or your dog, or volunteer at a community garden, or there's just so many good things you can do. And so, no, I'm not going to say, get rid of the football, it's stupid, you suck. I realize what is great about it. There's camaraderie in it. It brings people together, and it's just fun and exciting. But it's become too much. It's ridiculous in its scope, and therefore it's kind of lost its meaning. Hey, what do you think? That's just what I think, and that's just what I know. And all I know is that I know very little. If you got any questions or comments, send them to me at david@thedavidsparks.com. I'm on Facebook at The David Sparks Show, on Twitter at David Sparks Show. I've got a video playlist of all my videos on the TYT Nation channel at YouTube. And I would like to thank and welcome everyone from the inyourfaceradio.net network and crew. Thank you so much for giving me this space to air my dirty brain laundry. And until then, I'm going to get out of here. But before I leave, I am going to leave you with a song that myself and my good friend Brian Pelfrey wrote a few years back in our band, our incredibly unfamous band, Drexel. And it's called Let's Kick Toby Keith in the Balls. Enjoy.
Let's kick Toby Keith in the balls. 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 I like to take a shot in his cowboy hat and take off with his favorite girl. He's just about as useless as a chisholm hanging from the Peter of Miltonburg. Let's kick Toby Keith in the balls. 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 He'd proudly take a stand at Obama's right hand, a turn around and pee in his pool. A barbecue sauce swearing man. He's just another right-wing tool. Schmuck in his pickup truck, dumbing the whole country down. He's just another beer drinking, singing fool, a flag waving populist clown. Let's kick Toby Keith in the balls. Let's kick Toby Keith in the balls. Let's kick Toby Keith in the balls.
AM. FM. In Your Face Radio.